always guessed her fate. And I'm too old to become teary-eyed about the truth. Don't say you've come to see me sulk. I was overly harsh with you. And you did help me. More than anyone else. My mother loved Cecil. My father. Too much, I think. If he loved her or not, I don't know. I never wanted to ask. Our village was fine until my mother disappeared. You can guess, The same test I passed. She failed. And now, it's over. My thanks, friend.
You there! I see you are a child of Ariat, yet you bear no crest. Have you no tribe?
The winds of battle carry me further and faster than any tribe can travel.
Spoken like a warrior who has never known a home. There are many like you, raised in the wilds. Your tribe scattered by the fall of Mount Ariat. We Oxen have been fortunate. We found a home, good trade, strength. If you wish to join your strength to ours, seek Katra, north of town. She will show you what is needed. Not all you see here were born of the Oxen tribe. Some found us, as you did, guided by fate. They tell us of others who wander without a tribe. As for their fate, only the ancestors know.
I have something to fit you, I'm sure. Ah, a warrior. How may I serve?
Do you now? The tales walk tall ahead of you, Wanderer. Tell me, are you worthy of them?
I would show you.
Good answer. To call yourself Oxen Tribe, you must earn it in blood, spilled in the sight of our ancestors. I will be their witness. We make for the hunting grounds. These vermin imagine they can take our land as they please. We must often remind them otherwise. Let's see what you can do. Clean kill. The Forge Master was right to send you. You might just survive.
Survive what?
All right, stay your hand. The vermin have bled enough. A great and terrible beast. It has plagued the steppes all season, laying waste to crops, caravans, and warriors alike. Bring me its head as an offering to our ancestors. Then, we may call you Oxen Tribe. I will wait here for you to return. Or until the sun rises again.
You will not be waiting long.
And what a great ugly thing it is. Glorious. I will deliver this to the Forge Master. When you are ready, return to us in Ket Badu. And congratulations, warrior of the Oxen tribe.
Welcome, kindred warrior. Katra tells me she's never seen such skill, that you must be an ancient reborn.
She exaggerates.
But you are not Oxen tribe yet. Not without a crest, made in the Great Forge. May it guard you on the path, and always guide you home.
Good luck, outsider.
My thanks to you. killers are likely still about. If I...
That's one. There's one. Get that one. There's one. Get that one. That's one. That's one. Get that one. There's one. There's one. That's one. Get that one. That's one.
Glad I helped. I need to make amends. Much.
Thank you. I'll tell the boys we can get back to work. And we've been restless, being on land this long.
The whale was on us for days. It shadowed the length of Kerrigan. Now when it turned too bold, Benin pulled us alongside the beast, and I rushed in to give it a spear. Realized too late, I only had my flask in hand. You should have seen Benin's face. Benin always had my back, though, you know? Whale or otherwise.
Traded my last coin for her. This chicken lays a golden egg every year.
You absolute fool. These are regular eggs.
Oh, so demons are real, but the idea of magic hens is too ridiculous.
No, I could never be one. I can't stand the smell of fish. It will linger on you for days. Tough and honest folk. But the fishermen, they will occasionally try and spin rubbish tales about sea monsters. Not likely. The world could end, and this place would stay the same.
It was my best mate. Took to the sea a fortnight ago and hasn't returned. I heard his vessel met the rocks beyond Stormbreak Cove. Tore it to pieces. I'd give the coast a look myself, but I can't see him like that. Welled up with water. Fit to burst. It's like a brother. It's not right. Could you see if he's there? He has a tattoo on his neck. A seafarer's spear. You can't miss it.
I got day-old bread, and these fun rocks I found. The bread's not so bad if you toast it. My best sellers were my carved charger tusks. If you carve the right pattern, they're good luck. That's what Dad told me. I'm all out of tusks, though. And money. Oh, but if you bring me some tusks, I'll cut you in on the profits.
The Downs is my home, but Sanctuary is dangerous these days, and my parents, my poor old parents, are getting on in age. Who will protect their home? I would go check on them, but the roads are perilous. Perhaps you could go to my father, Chillin, and see if they need me.
My thanks, Wanderer. I cannot wait to visit my sister's bairn. Magic in a bottle.
Don't worry, Gil. Just need to wait out the tide. And the sea can keep the damned ship. Our ship kissed the rock of eternal watch with its bare ass. Scattered us across the rock, blood and wood everywhere. I managed to get Gil at the beach here. No telling what happened to the rest. Benin. Yeah, I recall the name. Stoic fellow. Kept to himself. If he's up there, he'll be a tough find. Not one for moaning.
Not this one. I need to keep looking.
Fergus, I send this letter from a far shore you will never see. Little makes me happier knowing so. The bottle consumed you long ago. Took what little sense washed around that head of yours. I couldn't stand it no more. The whinging, the pissing about. I leave Marrowan, my home, to be free of you. Free of your misfortune. I wash my hands of you.
someone there? Dark all around. Why did Mother go? I don't want to be alone.
Me alone. I knew it. The sea takes the best among us. Due paid for the bounty she provides. Maud, a drink for Benin. Taken by the blessed blue. Goodbye, brother. There once was a lad that tamed the sea. The name of the lad was Benin the Free. The winds blew up, and down went he. Oh, lo, my brother's gone.
Salutations, Wanderer. Come and don the mantle of history's champions. Let me show you more, traveler.
There's a lighthouse out on the rocks. Why is its beacon unlit? never harm another soul.
You there! Please!
They're here! You ready?
The only way out of this is to fight.
We may yet survive! Take this, my friend. It's not much, but I hope it helps.
What's still got some good in it?
It's a dangerous world. Come make it less so. Fair trade.
Stay sharp, my friend.
Well, too bad, friend. Shame that. Too bad, friend. Shame that.
Go one more?
See some steel you need? There's a good one. More there than I thought. Some solid bits here. I'll keep my forge hot. I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need? More there than I thought.
Step inside, young ne'er-do-well, and welcome to the fold. For one of his you shall become, in death or partner in gold. So follow your fated predecessors. Their bones do point the way. Go clutch, awaits your pleasure. It's best you don't delay.
My soul. Please, take it back from them. Let it end. Such power.
Mainlander, what brings you? Step up to my anvil. Taken apart. I'll be here, swinging away.
What brings you to the Ancient Isles?
It's locked.
We demand blood.
Follow the stars, friend.
There is magic in all things. Let me show you. May your road be filled with wonders.
No, I'm not all right. Just look at the colour of her bark, the poor tree. My chanting is the only thing keeping her upright. She needs a piece of her mother, the great oak of Tur Dulra. Not to go deep for it, though. Down to the underroot where the ancients first planted. I'd searched that darkness myself, but I can't leave her side. Please, help me save her.
Wouldn't have made it without you. There are too many!
It's true. Akarat walked these streets.
You look troubled, old man. Perhaps the wisdom of Akarat can bring some...
Knew you'd be on Akarat's trail. Where have I been? This way.
What is this? Nerel.
I tried searching for clues earlier, but I couldn't focus. We'll do it together.
This feeling like my insides are being pulled apart. I thought I had rid myself of his
The spear of light's piercing hatred's heart. She figured out Rathma's prophecy is more than just rubbish. So, Mephisto, go on ahead. It's done. Nerel is at rest. Aye, I secured a place on the ship.
No one gives a damn about you here, but at least they're honest about it. Anywhere else and they lie with a smile.
But beware those who sully Akarat's name. They walk these very docks. Don't they, old man?
Me?
Yes. Do you truly seek Akarat's favor? Or are you driven by darker impulses?
No dark impulses in this heart, my friend. I only seek the truth. Don't worry about the preacher. He's... Never thought I'd go back to Scoville. At least I didn't make too many enemies there. Not this time, no. Damn. We need to find him.
Help! Please! The sea's angry, spitting all sorts of vermin. No.
We can't reach the armaments! Something's grown over them! It's not just the Scalies. There's something moving under the boards.
Stay together. Good. Now, take a breath and... help me down.
Oh, no!
Hold your ground here while we check the rest of the deck.
Cold. So cold. No. Oh.
Over here! The way up top looks clear, but...
That creature made a mess of things.
I give my blood willingly, Mephisto. I open my soul to your hate! Aren't we both so fortunate?
Everyone below deck, come on. It's safe. Not.
Wretched monstrosity. What have these mainlanders brought to our isles?
All these people, like lambs to the slaughter. No time to waste.
Beast. Akarat spoke of evil things to come.
Akarat is truly here, to gaze upon his face this closely.
Queen Adriana has welcomed us. That gives me heart. There is much good we can do.
We're just supposed to blindly follow him.
City still.
Our spears serve Themis and her
The kindness of an angel.
But here we trade gold for service, not garbage.
seasickness.
And what would Akarat say?
He'd say sorry.
Fiona knows what she's doing. Have faith, brother.
Like coming home.
So, you admit you worship demons?
No, we respect demons, same as angels.
But they're not the same. One is evil.
Evil, good. You cannot touch these things. You cannot hold them. They're not real. But blood is real. And my blood bears my ancestors, angels and demons both, same as you, same as anyone.
I could send out a unit, shore up our defenses.
The Oracle was clear. A dark age comes for Skovos.
This thing cannot be fought with steel alone.
Nor can it be prayed away.
Damn. Mephisto has the Queen's ear, and they've yet to even meet. Lorath should have...
The eclipse is coming! Pity the unsaved, for they alone will suffer!
Wait! One of Mephisto's servants. I need to find him.
Give me back my daughter.
The child has made her choice.
was baiting me. What's Mephisto's game?
Do you feel our Lord so near?
I do. I do.
No, no.
Akarat walked these streets.
You look troubled, old man. Perhaps the wisdom of Akarat can bring some light into your heart.
Perhaps my boot can bring some light into your arse. Bugger off, will you? I was hoping to find you here, friend. Knew you'd be on Akarat's trail. Where have I been? Too damn far. This way.
What is this place? No,
I tried searching for clues earlier, but I couldn't focus. We'll do it together.
It's been 7 days since I saw Mephisto in dreams. My symptoms are worse.
The spear of light piercing hatred's heart. She figured out Rathma's prophecy is more than just rubbish. So, Mephisto, go on ahead. It's done. Neyrelle is at rest. Aye. I secured a place on the ship. Meet me at the docks.
Poison this world, and only Akarat. But beware those who sully Akarat's name. They walk these very docks. Don't they, old man?
Me?
Yes. Do you truly seek Akarat's favor? Or are you driven by dark?
Hey folks, this is Riker with a Diablo lore video. Now this will be part 1 in a series in which we explore the major players in the story of Diablo. From the Nephilim, to Tyrael, to Deckard Cain, to Diablo himself. And we'll give a crash course on what exactly is going on in this game series, story-wise. Because there's a lot of really cool lore, really interesting characters, and just playing through the games doesn't quite give you the full story. Be sure to have subscription notifications turned on so that you'll be alerted when a new episode comes out. Now we're going to start the series from the beginning. No, not Diablo 1, the beginning of the game. The very first being in creation. You see, in the beginning, there was only Anu, aka the one, aka the Diamond Warrior. And I mean, there was only Anu. There was no universe. There was nothing. There was just Anu. So one day, presumably after an intense session with his life coach, Anu decided to better himself by casting out all the evil, all the bad parts within him and become a being
Something's
of
grown
pure
over
good.
there.
And there must have been quite a bit of evil within him because all the evil parts came together to form
It's
another
not just this game, Elise. There's something moving
the
under
first
the balls.
We'll talk more about that. So now, literally, the only two things to exist are and Time. And since the games have been made yet, one of these two decide to fight each other for several thousand years before they completely both die at the same time in a massive explosion and and this is all the creation of the universe. Now, while Anu was dead and gone, chunks of them were still floating around the universe. The Eye of Anu, also known as the World Stone, as we see at the end of Diablo 4, remained at the center of the universe, in a realm that came to be known as Pandemonium, which we visit slightly in Diablo 2 and prominently in Diablo 3. Anu's spine and eventually became the Crystal Arch, around which we relate to this. We see the Crystal Arch in Diablo 3. It's where we fight Diablo.
Hold your ground here while we check
Now,
the rest
this
of
is
the day.
pretty much where Anu's story ends, which is to be expected since he's
Cold.
dead. But there is a brief mention of him in Diablo 3. If you look at the item Rogar's huge stone and read the lore bit, it seems that this stone may have been fashioned from crystallized blood of Anu. So now with Anu's story over, let's turn our attention to the second creation, Tathamet, also known as the Dragon, also known as the Beast, also known as the Tathamet was a seven-headed dragon and was the sum of all evil. Now, when Anu and Tathamet destroyed each other, Tathamet's body also got blasted across the universe to spawn various interesting peoples and places. The bulk of his mortal corpse formed the Burning Hell,
Over here!
Within which
The way
can
up
be
top
found
looks
the
clear,
mysterious
but-
black abyss from which demons are born. And yes, as you may guess, we'll talk more about demons later. Now, remember how we said that Tathamet had 7 heads before he exploded? Well, each of those heads spawned great angels, the most powerful demons in hell. The 3 most powerful heads gave birth to the 3 brothers, the prime evils, including Diablo himself, while the 4 lesser heads gave birth to the lesser evils. And I'm sure there totally won't be any jealousy and ensuing infighting from that. Now, there's a little more to Tathamet's story, but not for a long,
creature
long
made a
time.
mess of things.
We'll revisit Tathamet when we talk about Diablo. But for now, let's talk about angels and demons. So the angels, aka the seraphim, live in the high heavens. They are living manifestations of light and sound, and they are dedicated to the ideals of order. As we said previously, they are birthed from the crystal arch, and the process through which they are birthed is called the light song. Basically, since angels are beings of light and sound, they emit a certain resonance which they tune to the crystal arch. And during the rare times when there is perfect harmony in the high heavens, a new angel can be born from the arch. Now remember, the crystal
I
arch
give
is
my
a
blood
part of
willingly,
Anu, and when an
Mephisto.
angel is born from the
I
arch,
open my
you're
soul
actually
to your
embodying
hate.
a part of Anu's power. And this power is finite. That means that there is a finite number of angels that can exist.
Aren't we both so
basically, you can
fortunate?
say that angels
Where he
are
goes,
small
the
Anus.
whole world around him. He spoke of you. Oh, he admires you.
Now, while
and
Anu's
hates
power
you.
is finite,
I
whenever
wish
an
that he-
angel is slain, the power returns to the crystal arch, and a new angel can then be born. So let's say that in total there's enough Anu power units to produce 1 million angels, and there are currently only 500,000 angels. That means that the arch can produce over time another 500,000 angels. Once we reach 1 million angels, no further angels can enter the square, maximum angel capacity. All of Anu's power has been distributed out. But then let's say that 100,000 angels die in battle versus demons, then that frees up a bunch of Anu power units, and over time another 100,000 angels can be produced. Now, as we said, angels tune their resonance to the crystal arch, and it's from this connection that they draw their power, their very life force. This is why when Diablo entered the high heavens in Act 4 and Diablo 3, he was able to incapacitate all the angels by futzing with the antenna on the arch. Now, oddly enough, despite the unusual way in which angels are born, they can also breed for some reason. And moreover, they're able to interbreed with demons. This seems like too much information, but trust me, it'll be relevant later. As it turns out, not all angels are born equal. Some are archangels, angels with greater power and status. They're like super angels, or angel celebrities, like Chris Angel. 5 of these archangels form the Angerus Council, who rule the high heavens. We've met every member of the council in Diablo 3, but before we dive any deeper into that, let's talk about demons. So demons, aka Hellspawn, aka minions of darkness, are the evil natives of the burning hells. They are the antithesis of angels. So while angels are beings of light and order, demons are beings of shadow and chaos. Unlike angels, who are all very similar in appearance, demons come in all manner of shapes and sizes. Many of the enemies that we fight in Diablo are demons, though we should clarify that undead are not beings, but demons often use undead in their armies. Unlike angels, demons are physical beings, but if slain, their souls are reborn in hell. As we mentioned, demons are spawned from the Black Abyss, from some even more mysterious process than the Crystal Arch that doesn't seem to involve any kind of singing. Now, while angels are peacefully ruled by the Angerus Council and live in harmony, demons are far more selfish and chaotic and ultimately uncooperative, but they still generally follow a hierarchy. in the same way that a wolf pack follows a hierarchy, where the alpha is only in charge until someone takes him out to become the new alpha. So at the top of this hierarchy are the three brothers, the three prime evils, Diablo, Baal, and Mephisto. We fight and kill all three of these in Diablo 2. Beneath these three are the four lesser evils, Duriel and Andariel, who we kill in Diablo 2, and Asmodan and Belial, who we kill in Diablo 3. Collectively, the prime and the lesser evils are known as the Great Evils, and each of the seven rules over its own domain within the center of the Burning Hells. But roaming the outer reaches of the Burning Hells are the Mallet Lords, who we fight in Diablo 3. They rule over the demons that are far from the domains of the Great Evils, and they've always refused to join any of the armies of the lesser evils. Now another notch down on the hierarchy are Balrogs, aka Mega Demons, and when they aren't busy fighting Gandalf, they're overseeing lesser demons. Now there's a bit more nuance to this system, there's servants and lieutenants, but that's the gist of things. And the biggest takeaway is that it's pretty rare for big important demons to work together, since basically all demons want power for themselves, and they don't believe in harnessing the power of cooperation. But if there's one thing that demons like more than fighting each other, it's fighting angels. And that leads us to the eternal conflict. As its name suggests, the eternal conflict refers to the unending war between angels and demons that has gone on since both species were created. But angels and demons don't just fight to destroy each other. Remember, both angels and demons are reborn once they're slain, so that would be a pretty futile war. No, what they're fighting for is control of the World Stone. Remember the Eye of Anu that is located at the center of the universe? Well, whoever controls the World Stone has the ability to shape reality, create worlds, and create life. Throughout the eternal conflict, control of the World Stone passed from angels to demons and back and forth and back and forth. And when the angels controlled it, they would build worlds of perfect order. And when demons controlled it, they basically created horror movie sets. However, all the worlds created by either side would end up dying because of the ongoing war. So at some point, the Pandemonium Fortress was created to defend the World Stone, and it apparently made zero difference because over time, possession of the Pandemonium Fortress passed again from angel to demon, and its physical appearance reflects this. We visit the Pandemonium Fortress in Diablo 2, it's the Act 4 town. And in Diablo 3, we visit it in a much greater capacity, as it's featured prominently in Act 5. Now from here, in order to keep telling our story, we need to talk about one particular angel and one particular demon, Inarius and Lilith. Inarius, aka the Prophet, was an archangel, and yes, the necromancer set in Diablo 3, Grace of Inarius, is named after him. Inarius served as an advisor on the Angiras Council, and was under the direct command of everyone's favorite angel, Tyrael. But after fighting demons for thousands of years, he starts to realize that the whole thing is basically pointless. I mean, think about how long it takes you to get bored of killing demons in Diablo. Now imagine playing Diablo non-stop for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, at some point, you want to do something else. So while Inarius had these feelings within him, he still participated in the eternal conflict until one day when he was incapacitated in battle and captured. He woke up in chains, a prisoner to demons, and he wasn't a very polite prisoner because he spent most of his time complaining loudly about how stupid the eternal conflict is and how he just wanted to be away from it all. Fortunately for him, his demon captor shared his feelings and set him free. The name of that demon? Lilith. Lilith was the demon. And in perhaps the universe's first case of Stockholm Syndrome, Inarius became instantly infatuated with Lilith. And I mean, you know, you can't really blame him. So let's talk a bit about Lilith here, aka the Queen of the Succubi. She is the daughter of Mephisto, and Mephisto is the Lord of Hatred. So you can imagine he wasn't a very nurturing father. And like any rebellious teenage daughter, Lilith was sick of his crap. She didn't have much of a better opinion of Uncle Baal and Uncle Diablo either, so when she met Inarius, she saw an opportunity to make them all upset. Just instead of rebelling by bringing an angel home to her racist family for Thanksgiving dinner, she sowed the seeds of insurrection and worked with Inarius to assemble a team of rogue angels and demons to follow them to freedom. Her plan? Steal the World Stone. And so the greatest heist in history was afoot. It's not clear how they managed to steal the gigantic World Stone from the massively fortified Pandemonium Fortress, but I think that would make the most awesome Ocean's 11 movie ever, starring George Clooney as Inarius and Julia Roberts as Lilith. But whatever. Once they had access to the World Stone, they altered its dimensional frequency, because now we're in an episode of Star Trek, and they used the power of the World Stone to conceal it and then hide it in a pocket dimension. And it was in this pocket dimension that Inarius, Lilith, and their followers used the World Stone's power to create a world around it. A refuge that would come to be known as Sanctuary. Sanctuary is the name of the world in Diablo, where the game takes place. Now, the very first part of Sanctuary to be created was Mount Arreat, forming a protective shell around the World Stone. Mount Arreat was featured prominently in Diablo 2's Act 5, all the way from its exterior to the final fight with Baal in the World Stone Chamber. In Diablo 3's Act 3, we revisit much of the surrounding areas after the events of Diablo 2. Spoilers. So now we have this new secret world for Lilith and Inarius and all the other renegade angels and demons. Now, everybody in this world is accustomed to doing little else other than fighting each other forever. So with a bunch of time on their hands now, and us still being millennia away from video games being invented, they found other stuff to do. Like, yeah, remember how we said that angels and demons can interbreed somehow? Well, Lilith and Inarius made the beast with 4 wings. And I don't know the biology or the mechanics of how that even works. How does a being of light and sound even procreate with a physical creature? I sang you a song. You're pregnant now. And so Lilith and Inarius bore a son named Lunarian, though one day he would change his name to Rathma. Rathma was the first Nephilim, a new powerful race born from the interbreeding of angels and demons. And as other angels and demons did the hokey pokey, more Nephilim were born, forming the first generation of Nephilim known as the Ancients. Now, eventually, after generations, the power of the Nephilim was diluted down until eventually they were a new, weaker race called humans. But how did the Nephilim lose their power? Who were the other Ancients? Why did Rathma change his name? Did Sanctuary's favorite power couple, Lilarius, stay together or split up? All these questions and more will be answered in our next video in this lore series. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. With another wave of the YouTube adpocalypse descending upon us, if you'd like to support my videos on Patreon and make me a little bit less dependent on YouTube ad revenue, that's immensely appreciated. And we've got a bunch of Patreon rewards like behind the scenes stuff, monthly hangouts, Q&As, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more Diablo content. Hey folks, this is Riker with another Diablo lore video. This is part 2 in a series where we explore the major players in the world of Diablo. From the Nephilim, to Tyrael, to Deckard Cain, to Diablo himself. And we give a crash course on what exactly is going on story-wise in this game series. There's so much really cool lore in Diablo, and we really get an incomplete picture just basing ourselves on the in-game events. Feel free to check out episode 1 if you haven't, and be sure to have subscription notifications turned on to be alerted of new episodes. So in our first episode, we spoke about the creation of angels and demons. And no, not the Dan Brown novel. We spoke about their eternal conflict, literally named the Eternal Conflict, and we spoke about how rebels from both factions came together to create the world of Diablo, Sanctuary, and subsequently humanity, by getting it on. So let's revisit and expand on that last part. Not the sex. So we had the angel Inarius and the demon Lilith make sweet, sweet love and give birth to a new race, the Nephilim, the ancestors of humanity. Other angels and demons also procreated to give birth to more of these Nephilim. So let's talk more about these Nephilim now. They were immortal, just like angels and demons. And the first generation of Nephilim would come to be known as the Ancients. And it's believed that there were thousands, possibly tens of thousands of these ancients. Modern-day accounting or Proto-Roman census-taking hadn't yet been invented, so the numbers are kind of sketchy. So these ancients set out to explore the world of Sanctuary, eventually developing into very distinct cultures. Now, unfortunately for the Nephilim, their angelic and demonic parents realized, hey, wait a minute, these guys are stronger than us. Somehow, the bonding of angel and demon produced an offspring that was more powerful than evil. weaker. Case in point, in Diablo 3 you play as a Nephilim and you're strong enough to kill thousands of demons. So the angels and demons of Sanctuary got into a massive lover's spat over whether or not the Nephilim needed to be destroyed. After all, these Nephilim may one day pose a threat to their parents. Or they could somehow make the high heavens and the burning hells aware of the existence of Sanctuary and make it less of a sanctuary and more of a cosmic public toilet. So Inarius, the ruler of Sanctuary, took this matter under serious consideration, and he was leaning towards killing all the Nephilim. But he wanted some time of quiet contemplation to deliberate. Now Lilith, on the other hand, realizing that the genocide of her children was on the table, became the universe's first protective mother bear and flew into a rage, slaughtering every other angel and demon in Sanctuary, while Inarius was off at the lake house contemplating. Now, to be fair, Lilith was not just doing this out of maternal love. Remember, Lilith and Inarius created Sanctuary in the first place to flee from the eternal conflict. But Lilith always believed that they could do more than just hide. She thought that they could end the eternal conflict once and for all, and the Nephilim would be the army she would use to destroy the high heavens and the burning hells. Now, once Inarius came back and saw what Lilith had done, i.e. go on a crazy murder rampage, he banished her to the void in the burning hells. Because even though she killed literally everyone else in the world who wasn't a Nephilim, he was still a big ol' softy and couldn't bring himself to kill her back. But now, Inarius is alone. No lover, no fellow angels, none of those pesky but tolerable demons, just himself, and this new race of beings that he considers abominations, who are now a greater threat to him than ever because he's alone. So Inarius attunes the World Stone to make the power of the Nephilim diminish over time, and then he vanishes from the public eye, like Sean Connery after the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Over successive generations, as the Nephilim spread civilization throughout Sanctuary, their power gradually weakened. So they're all spread apart now, forming different cultures in different regions in Sanctuary. And without the internet, there wasn't any way for them to really stay connected information-wise. So some of the Nephilim knew why they were getting weaker, but many didn't. Some even believing it was some kind of a plague. As the Nephilim weakened, so did their civilizations, and they fell into a dark age. Eventually, the Nephilim weakened to the point of becoming mortals, giving rise to humans, who were unaware of the truth of their ancestry beyond myths and legends. And you know, no one believes those.
You do believe me, don't you, Leah?
I always knew they were just stories. Uncle Decker died for those stories.
By the 3rd century of Sanctuary's existence, it was believed that there were no Nephilim anymore. Now, I'm not saying that's the truth, I'm saying that's what was believed. Totally not foreshadowing here. But now let's talk a bit more about some of the ancients, the first Nephilim. Who were some of the major important ones that we knew about? Well, there's everyone's favorite ancient, Bolcathos, aka the Immortal King. It's difficult to play Diablo 2 or 3 without being somewhat aware of Bolcathos, the name. Maybe you figure he's a barbarian god or something, and in many ways he did become something of a deific figure to barbarians. Basically, while other ancients were spreading out throughout Sanctuary, Bolcathos remained at Mount Ariat, that protective shell around the World Stone, and he rallied his people to devote their lives to protecting the World Stone. Bolcathos believed in strict martial training, the way of the warrior. He organized the disparate tribes in the area and ensured that they would protect Mount Ariat for generations to come. And these tribes came to be known as the Children of Bolcathos, and better known as barbarians. Thus the origin of the barbarian class in D2. But Bolcathos wasn't alone amongst the ancients in sharing a desire to have their people devote their lives to fully protecting Mount Ariat and preserving the secret knowledge of the ancients for generations. Enter Fiaclager. And the lore is a little sketchy here, but it seems like this is the same person as Vasily. Depending on how you interpret things, since they're mentioned in different sources, they could be two different people, but they very much seem to fill the same narrative role, so for our purposes, we'll just assume that they're one and the same, going by different names. So Fiaclager was the brother of Bolcathos. And again, it's not really clear whether they're actual brothers or more of like, I love you, bro. So while Fiaclager and Bolcathos both had a unified purpose, they disagreed somewhat on how to implement that vision. While Bolcathos opted for the warrior path, Fiaclaguer believed in attaining spiritual oneness with the land that they were sworn to protect. You know, hippie crap. In a surprising twist, rather than fight each other over their vastly differing philosophies, they both agreed that the other's way of doing things had merit. It's almost as though it's possible to share vastly different opinions on important matters and still appreciate and get along with someone. And I think we could all learn a lesson from this. And that lesson is, video games are make-believe and you shouldn't be deriving life lessons from made-up fantasy stories. Anyway, so while Bolcathos was uniting the tribes, Fiaclaguer gathered a small group of the best shaman and warrior poets around. Yes, warrior poets. They wrote really scathing limericks. And he led his group to the nearby forests of Skazglen, where he founded the first Druid College. It's actually in the current season of Diablo 3 that we see the first in-game reference to Fiaclaguer. They're the wings you get for completing a certain part of your season journey. Do we have any other ancients responsible for the creation of any other Diablo classes? Yes. The answer is yes. Another ancient named Essu became a master of elemental magic, and her followers would go on to become sorceresses. We'll talk more about sorceresses someday. The only other major thing we know about Essu is that she sought control of the World Stone, in direct opposition of Bolcathos, and this caused something of a conflict, a civil war, if you will, among the Nephilim, which was ultimately won by the defending faction. Another ancient was named Philios, and he fell in love with an angel named Lycander. When Lilith began murdering all the angels and demons in Sanctuary, Lycander fled back to the high heavens. But in true fashion of a classical age romance story, Philios and Lycander were deeply in love and found a way to stay in contact through an artifact called the Sightless Eye. Unfortunately, once the other angels realized that Lycander was constantly texting someone, Lycander urged Philios to hide the Sightless Eye, and he begrudgingly did so on the island of Skovos. Philios eventually took another lover, a human woman named Askara, and they had twin daughters. These daughters would go on to find the Sightless Eye, and thereafter found the Askari civilization, better known as the Amazons. You may recognize mention of the Sightless Eye from Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and the Skovos Isles from annoying NPC chatter in Diablo 3. But those are topics for another day. Now, before we talk about other ancients, I'd like to talk about the ancients that we mostly think of when we hear the term the Ancients. I think most Diablo players, when they hear the term the Ancients, think of the three protectors of Mount Arreat in Diablo 2, who are the same three ancients that you summon using Call of the Ancients with your Barbarian in Diablo 3. Well, it seems that these three ancients aren't really ancients. If the definition of ancients we're using is the first generation born from angel and demon, then neither of these three are ancients. Not Talek, the sword and shield dude, not Madoc, the crazy double axe guy, and not even Korlik with the polearm. But let's talk briefly about these three anyway. So Talek the Defender, the sword and board guy, grew up hearing legends of Mount Arreat, which implies that he wasn't one of the original Nephilim. Since then the stories he'd be hearing wouldn't be legends, they would be the 6 o'clock news. When he was 19, at which point he already had a wife and child, there was a knock at his door one day, and two Jehovah's Witnesses, basically, asked him to give up everything and go defend Mount Arreat. He said no. The two then said that they were sent by the Ancients, who had specifically picked him to defend Mount Arreat, and he said okay. He turned to his wife and kid, said he was heading to the store to pick up a pack of cigarettes, and became an immortal protector of Mount Arreat. On to Madoc the Guardian, who is basically just some really sketchy old dude that just showed up one day wielding 2 axes. He became a local legend amongst barbarians because he would have prophetic visions of the past and the future. Before a battle, he would sit in meditation, and sometimes he would just get up and leave, not partaking in the battle. People began to believe that he could see the outcome of a battle before it would happen, and started to follow him, leaving when he would leave, staying to fight when he would stay. Sometimes Madoc would start a fight with someone with no provocation, claiming to seek justice for crimes that they will one day commit. And one day Madoc just awoke from meditation, told people that the Ancients were calling him to Mount Arreat to protect it, and left. It was very much an I must go, my people need me moment. Then lastly we have Korlik the Protector, who was the leader of a barbarian tribe. At a very young age, he had tamed a vicious wild beast, and because of that, people said that there must be druid in his blood, implying, just like the other two, that he couldn't be ancient. Now, Korlik was a good man. He once saved a child's life, a child who just happened to be the son of the war chief of an enemy tribe. Without hesitation, Korlik returned the child to its home. And this act brought an end to the conflict between the two tribes. Now, how was Korlik summoned by the ancients? Korlik's wife, who was the tribe's seer, told him one day that the ancients had summoned him to go protect Mount Ariat. Imagine your significant other just waking you up one day going, honey, I had a vision. You have to leave forever and never come back. It's like, if you want to break up, just say so. Before Korlik could even respond, his wife announced this to the whole tribe and declared that they would celebrate until Korlik would leave. That celebration went on for 3 days, presumably until Korlik finally felt peer pressured enough to get out of there. So that's the backstory on the 3 non-ancient ancients, but there are a few other real ancients that we know of. One of which was Kalmor, who was disgusted as he watched subsequent generations of Nephilim become weaker and weaker, and ultimately mortal. He considered it an act of mercy to murder humans. But he was also filled with self-loathing, and he grew to desire the sweet release of death, but couldn't bring himself to end his own life. He was the last ancient to ever live, and we actually kill him in Diablo 3 in a side quest that spawns in the Passage of Corvus in Act 5. Another one of the ancients was named Helgrotha. She watched over nocturnal animals and was kind but firm in her protection. Her ultimate fate isn't really clear. She's dead, we know that, and it's likely that she was slain by Inarius. Because while Inarius didn't want to destroy all Nephilim, he did destroy those who protested against his plan to weaken all Nephilim. And it was believed that Helgrotha was just as powerful as the very son of Inarius and Lilith. You know, before she was destroyed. And speaking of that son, that's the final ancient that we'll discuss today, Lunarian. The first of the ancients, the first of the Nephilim. He studied the cycle of life and death and taught it to others. And over time, he came to realize that the forces of light and darkness would fight forever. The eternal conflict would never end. And that both the light and the dark were threats to Sanctuary. He was among the Nephilim that were aware of his father's plan, and he rebelled against it by strengthening his own power and amassing followers. But then when he realized that his father was killing those that opposed his plan, he faked his own death and fled to a mysterious nether realm, where he met an entity named Trag'Oul. Lunarian became Trag'Oul's disciple, and from him learned the concept of balance, or the great cycle of being, which seeks to maintain, obviously enough, balance between light and dark, order and chaos. Trag'Oul gave Lunarian a new name, a name that meant student. The name, Rothman. So who was this mysterious Trag'Oul? What would become of Rothman? Will angels and demons ever find Sanctuary? And if so, what will they do about it? Will Lilith ever escape the void? What's up with Inarius? All these questions and more will be answered as we continue to explore this lore series. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you'd like to support my videos on Patreon to make me a little less dependent on YouTube ad revenue, your support is immensely appreciated, and we've got a bunch of Patreon backer rewards, like behind the scenes stuff, monthly hangouts, Q&A, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more gaming content. Hey folks, this is Riker with another Diablo lore video. This is part 3 in a series in which we explore the major players in the story of Diablo. From the Nephilim to Tyrael to Deckard Cain to Diablo himself. And we give a crash course on what exactly is going on story-wise in this game series. Feel free to check out episode 2 if you haven't, and make sure you have subscription notifications turned on to be alerted of new episodes. In our first 2 episodes, we discussed the creation of angels and demons, their eternal conflict, and how renegades from both factions came together to create the secret world of Sanctuary and the human race. Now, there's a major event that took place in the history of the Diablo universe, an event called the Sin War. And this event was so important that Blizzard actually published a trilogy of novels based around it, authored by Richard A. Knapp. Now, the Sin War basically was a secret fight for Sanctuary and the humans that inhabited it. But before we talk about the Sin War, we need to give a little bit more backstory on some of the major players involved, particularly the Primevals. So the Primevals, aka the Three, aka the Brothers. These are the three demon lords that rule over all of the Burning Hells. In Diablo 2, we encounter and kill all three of them. The Primevals led the demons in the eternal conflict against the angels of the high heavens. And as we discussed in our first lore video, all three were spawned by three of the biggest, strongest heads of Tathamet. So who were the three? Well, we start with Mephisto, aka Dul Mephistos, the Lord of Hatred. He's the eldest of the three brothers, and he's said to be the most intelligent of them. He would often manipulate his brothers to pit them against each other for the purposes of general dickishness. Undead creatures are said to be the minions of Mephisto, presumably the undead that are not directly summoned by necromancers. Mephisto is also the father of Lilith, who we discussed in our previous episode, and he also has a son who we'll discuss in a bit. Next we have Baal, aka Tor Balos, the Lord of Destruction. He is the most reckless and brash of the Primevals, possibly because he's the middle child, so you know, he acts up because he doesn't get the privileges of the older child Mephisto, or the indulgences of little baby Diablo. Speaking of Diablo, we have Diablo, also known as Al Diabolos. Who knows him as this? No one knows him as this. The Lord of Terror and the youngest of the Primevals. So he's like the annoying little brother to Baal and Mephisto. It's like Baal and Mephisto want to go to the arcade, and Mom's like, I'll bring little Diablo with you. I'm like, Ma, come on. Now, last we left off in the story of Sanctuary, neither the High Heavens nor the Burning Hells knew about the existence of Sanctuary, or the humans that inhabited it. However, they did know something was up. Remember, the eternal conflict between angels and demons, who are immortal and when they die just respawn, revolved around vying for control of the World Stone. And that World Stone was stolen to create Sanctuary and lies at the heart of Sanctuary. Well, during one of the Primevals' countless attacks on the Pandemonium Fortress, Mephisto, being the smart one, noticed that angels were withdrawing from the fortress. He wanted to take some time to analyze the situation, but Baal, the impatient one, you know, craving nothing but wanton destruction, stormed the fortress and realized that the World Stone was gone. You know, it's kind of a hard thing to miss. The Primevals captured and tortured angels, but no one seemed to know where the World Stone was. Baal did have suspicions, though, and pointed out to Mephisto that his daughter Lilith had gone missing. I guess Mephisto was just such a bad dad that he didn't even realize his own daughter was missing. So Baal jumped to conclusions that turned out to be correct, and assumed that Lilith was responsible for the World Stone vanishing. And he demanded that they find her, kill her, and retrieve the World Stone. Well, easier said than done. I mean, how do you find something or someone that is in a place that you don't even know exists? The short answer is, you don't. And if it wasn't for the colossal screw-up of human mages, the Primevals would have never learned about Sanctuary, and none of the Diablo games would have ever been made. So let's talk about these mages. As we previously established, the people of Sanctuary spread out throughout the world as the power of the Nephilim faded. In the Eastern Empire of Kyrgyzstan, some groups of people formed mage clans. We visit several locations in Kyrgyzstan in both Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Basically, if you're ever somewhere that is sandy or a jungle, you're probably in Kyrgyzstan. So these mage clans comprised the most powerful spellcasters of Sanctuary at the time, and they were one of the most powerful ruling bodies of Kyrgyzstan. One of the greater mage clans was the Vizjari.
Were originally humans until the Vizjari corrupted them.
So the Vizjari, aka the Brotherhood of the Vizjari, aka the Spirit Clan. In Diablo 1, the sorcerer that you can play as was a sorcerer of the Vizjari. In Diablo 2 Act 2, Jaren's palace was a former
Viserai Fortress. That explains why there was a portal to the Arcane Sanctuary in the cellar. You know, most cellars are infested with rats, but I suppose Mage Fortress cellars get infested with arcane portals. Also, Drognin, a merchant in Luco Lane, was a Viserai, and Irina, the Enchantress follower in Diablo 3, was a servant to a Viserai mage, which is how she learned magic. Now, in modern times, the Viserai focus on elemental magic, but when they first formed, their magical arts revolved around conjuring, summoning, and communing with spirits. You know, that's why they were known as the Spirit Clan. And this focus is largely thanks to one particularly talented mage, known as Jera Harash. When he was just a young Viserai acolyte, Harash had a dream, an epiphanous dream that granted him insight into a heretofore unknown power. Oh, I went there. I said heretofore. And this ability was to command the spirits of the dead. And apparently no one questioned this epiphany. Oh, hey, I figured out how to summon spirits into the world. Came to me in a dream. Nah, it's all good. I'm sure nothing bad will come of this. So he refined this summoning process, which allows a mage to drain the energy of the dead and summon a spirit into the world. A power that let the Viserai become the most powerful mages ever. Now, while he was attempting to completely master control of the spirit world, Harash one day found himself possessed by one of these spirits, and the spirit took him on a killing spree. Now, in case you haven't connected the dots, these spirits were actually demons from the burning hells. But the people of Sanctuary at the time had no concept of what a demon was, so yep, spirit, sure. That would soon change. So it was through the acts of Harash and the Viserai that the Burning Hells came to find out about Sanctuary. Good job. Well done. Good job there. The Primevals immediately recognized the strategic value of Sanctuary, and they sensed the dormant powers of the Nephilim within humanity. And so they wanted to corrupt humanity into a weapon that could be used to finally end the war with the High Heavens. But the Primevals also recognized that the High Heavens didn't seem to have noticed Sanctuary yet, and they wanted to keep things that way. After all, this was supposed to become their secret weapon. So if they were to wage a war on Sanctuary, that would definitely tip off the High Heavens. So instead they went with subterfuge. The plan was to start a religion in Sanctuary that would ultimately corrupt humanity to the will of the Primevals. A religion called the Triune. Get it? Triune? Like three Primevals. So let's talk about this Temple of the Triune, aka the Cult of the Three. Since it's difficult to convince people to join a religion dedicated to hatred, destruction, and terror, and whose ultimate goal is to enslave its members, the Triune, through clever use of the power of lying, was outwardly a benevolent religion. The Triune's core message was that through selfless worship and devotion, you could improve your life and unlock your true potential. Hell, if this were in modern times, they would probably publish a self-help book that would be peddled by Ty Lopez in 30-second YouTube commercials. Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini Diablo. That's all. Now, the Triune consisted of three smaller cults, sort of like a cultception, with each cult devoted to one of the Triune's three guiding spirits. Yes, the same kind of spirit that the Viserai summoned into the world. So you had the Order of Dialon, devoted to Dialon, the spirit of determination, who is actually Diablo, Lord of Terror. You had the Order of Bala, devoted to Bala, the spirit of creation, who is actually Baal, Lord of Destruction. And you had the Order of Mephis, devoted to Mephis, the spirit of love, who is actually Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred. So while people were recruited into the Triune under the premise of benevolent ideals, their hearts would gradually darken as they were initiated into the true teachings of the Triune. And the leader of the Triune, whose title was the Primus, was actually the son of Mephisto in disguise, Lucian. Remember earlier we said we would talk about him? Yeah, that's about it. That's all we gotta say about him. For decades, the Triune grew and thrived, establishing a foothold for the Primevals in Sanctuary. But as the Triune rose, so did another religion to rival it. Re-enter Inarius. So last we left off with Inarius, he was the de facto ruler of Sanctuary. Secretly, but nonetheless, this still counts. There were no other angels or demons left in Sanctuary from that renegade group that had formed it, and Inarius had weakened the Nephilim over subsequent generations to become human and no longer a threat to him. But when Inarius became aware of the Triune, he immediately recognized it for what it truly was, and saw through the plan of the Primevals, and he became afraid. For his own safety, as well as that of humanity. Because, like it or not, they sort of were his adopted children. So he founded the religion of the Cathedral of Light, thus starting the Sin War. He took on a mortal disguise to become the Prophet, the highest authority in the religion. Like it a bowl. Though this religion had no god figure, the Prophet sort of was one. His wisdom, his calm personality, his beauty, and his eternally youthful appearance, despite living for centuries, made it clear to people that he was something more than just a human. But again, people had no concept of angels or demons, so, oh hey look, here's this special guy. And he was absolutely admired and adored by his followers. He was like a celebrity. And just like how modern celebrities endorse books and life advice, and get people to believe their ill-informed opinions, just because they're famous despite otherwise lacking the qualifications to be influencing the major life choices of people, Inarius, the Prophet, basically made his religion about him telling people how to live their lives. And for centuries, these two religions coexisted in relatively peaceful competition. It was sort of like a Cold War, if you will, the Sin War. There was never really any direct conflict or confrontation because both sides were afraid of the high heavens becoming aware of Sanctuary. But all that was about to change with the return of Lilith. What will Lilith do now that she's returned to Sanctuary? Will the Triune or the Cathedral of Light triumph in this battle of the fates? How will the Sin War come to an end? Will the high heavens ever find out about the existence of Sanctuary? And if so, how? All these questions and more will be answered in future episodes of this series. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what I do and would like to support my videos, it's immensely appreciated. You can head over to patreon.com where we have a bunch of Patreon rewards like behind the scenes things, monthly hangouts, Q&A, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more Diablo content. Folks, this is Riker with another Diablo lore video. This is part 4 of a series in which we explore the major players in the world of Diablo, from the Nephilim to Tyrael to Deckard Cain to Diablo himself. And we give a crash course on what exactly is going on, story-wise, across this series. Feel free to check out our previous episodes if you haven't, and be sure to have subscription notifications turned on to be alerted of new episodes. In our first 3 episodes, we spoke about the creation of angels and demons, their eternal conflict, how renegades from both factions came together to create Sanctuary and humanity, and how there's now a secret war being waged for control of humanity. In this episode, we're going to continue where we left off, with the Sin War. But to do so, we need to introduce some additional characters. Starting with Diomedes, who was a farmer who lived in a hamlet. He had a wife and several children, and at some point a plague ravaged the countryside, killing Diomedes, his wife, and many of his children, leaving only 2 of his boys alive, Uldyssian and his younger brother, Mender, who had to take over the family farm. Apparently they weren't worried about the farm being infected or anything. So Uldyssian, aka Uldyssian ul Diomed, which presumably means Uldyssian of Diomedes, although his father is also Diomedes ul Diomed. So Uldyssian, the older brother, also lived his life as a simple farmer. He was pretty bitter about the whole, my whole family's dead thing, and that bitterness was mostly channeled towards the 2 major cults at the time, the Cathedral of Light and the Triune, who had done nothing to save his family. So while these 2 cults were going door to door to try to recruit new members into the Church of Latter Reset Days, Uldyssian would basically slam the door in their faces. Now one day, Uldyssian meets a mysterious noblewoman named Lilia, who pets his horse. That may or may not be a euphemism. Lilia is stunningly beautiful, and Uldyssian finds himself instantly captivated by her. One day not long after, Uldyssian runs into Lilia again in a forest, and she tells him that she thinks she saw something up ahead. Uldyssian goes to investigate with Lilia in tow, and the 2 stumble upon a body, a murdered missionary of the Triune. Lilia faints, allowing Uldyssian to heroically catch her, just like in those terrible TV dramas. He carried her to a nearby tavern where the 2 bonded. That may or may not be a euphemism. Shortly thereafter, another murdered missionary was found, this one from the Cathedral of Light. The murder weapon still lodged in his ribcage? Uldyssian's knife. Now, Uldyssian had nothing to do with the murders. And no, that's not just his defense statement, he literally had nothing to do with it. But given we're still thousands of years away from modern CSI techniques and proper defense attorneys, Uldyssian was thrown into prison to await trial. Throughout this, Lilia stands by his side, because as it turns out, while she was a noblewoman, she'd lost everything, because her family refused to ally itself with either of the cults. So as Uldyssian is sitting in his cell thinking of just how screwed he is, his cell door spontaneously unlocks, as though he willed it so. This was the first sign of his emergent powers. He didn't, however, take the opportunity to escape, instead waiting his trial, which was overseen by a Master Inquisitor of the Cathedral of Light, who surely was completely unbiased. And just as that Master Inquisitor was about to declare Uldyssian guilty of the two murders and sentence him to a swift beheading, the Inquisitor is conveniently struck and killed by a bolt of lightning. A terrible storm quickly gathers, and in the chaos, Uldyssian makes an escape with Lilia and a couple others who stood by him. Several more Cathedral Inquisitors try to stop him, but Uldyssian's emerging powers kill them too. Now, once Uldyssian and his posse properly escape and get to a safe distance and settle down, Uldyssian starts to test out his new powers to confirm that yes, he is indeed magic now. Lilia convinces Uldyssian that his powers are a gift that he should help awaken in all of humanity, so that humanity can take control of its own fate and oppose the Triune and the Cathedral of Light, who have ruined the lives of those who refuse to join their cults. So the group traveled the world, gathering followers as Uldyssian demonstrated the potential for raw magic in humanity by healing the sick and the wounded. Those he touched who joined his following also started to manifest magic powers. Now, Uldyssian named his growing following the Edarim, which literally means those who have seen. And these Edarim effectively became the second generation of Nephilim. Remember, the powers of the Nephilim faded because Inarius tampered with the World Stone, to the point that the Nephilim just became normal humans. Now, Uldyssian was somehow turning humans back into Nephilim. Slowly, but it was happening. Now we're going to temporarily take the focus off Uldyssian. Don't worry, we'll be back to him, because Lucian, the son of Mephisto and secret ruler of the Triune, has now taken notice of Uldyssian's emerging powers and the threat he poses to the Triune. So Lucian sends a party of minions to capture Uldyssian, but to Lucian's surprise, his minions are obliterated. Lucian starts to suspect something is afoot, so he sends a second, stronger raiding party, and in it, a minion who's able to cast a spell that removes defensive magic from a person. This second party is also destroyed, but not before that spell is cast on Lilia. And shortly thereafter, while Lilia and Uldyssian are together, euphemism, yada yada, Lucian's suspicions are confirmed. Lilia's protective spell dissipates, and her true form is revealed to Uldyssian. Lilith, daughter of Mephisto, sister to Lucian. If you already guessed this, then good job. So remember how we ended last video by saying Lilith somehow returned to Sanctuary? Yeah, she found a way to escape